Yo, what up? It's your boy, JJ Stone, aka O Doctor. Welcome to another episode of IQMZ Tech. It is June 19th, aka Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth to all those that celebrate. If you don't celebrate, that's totally fine. I get it. There's a lot of days. There's so many days in June with things going on. But this is the day we're celebrating. It's also Men's Awareness Month. It's Pride Month. Like I said, June's got June. You're just sharing a whole bunch of stuff. But we're actually here. We're on time. This isn't live, so you don't know that we're on time, but Ryan's got a really huge problem with being on time, and then he tries to blame me for certain things, and it's apology season, but I don't. Oh yeah, right. Hey, PC Games, just say what's up to people, Ryan.
I made it today. I'm not on camera because because I'm good at being on time today. I'm not good at being ready.
So if you could check the comments, we've been having a lot of complaints about Ryan's webcam and the background and all the stuff that's got on his walls. I mean, it's very offensive. No one likes all that Duke Nukem. What do you got on the walls again? What's on the
Fallout?
All the
Fallout theme.
The Fallout paraphernalia is upsetting people. So I decided to cut his camera today, and mostly because we have a guest, Lou Maresca. What's up, Lou?
Hey guys.
So, Lou, this show, we have a lot of fun with tech, and people have yelled at us. Well, me, because Ryan's smart. They yelled at me for not being smart enough. So I figured if I can get somebody else smart adjacent to me to come be on the show, a twit buddy. We've had a couple episodes together, and we've had a lot of fun and conversations in the past. And Lou still follows me, so I have to know something. I'm not that annoying. You know what I mean? We're two ships flying in the night. But
that's right.
How you doing, Lou? You good?
I'm doing great. I'm great. Thanks for having me. It was kind of a scorcher today, so I've been inside, but flying well today.
So if you didn't know, Lou's being really strong and brave here right now. NVIDIA has taken over Microsoft as the most wealthiest company in the world, and I appreciate you being here for me today, Lou. I know it's been struggle day for you. You had to go out swimming, clear your mind, get your stuff together, because what is it, like 1.2 trillion versus 1.4 trillion?
Right, that's right. We have to somehow stay on top. We have to do something to do. We shipped our Copilot PCs today, so that should help police, right?
And it is going to help, actually. Yeah. We will be talking about that. We've talked about Copilot a lot. I love Copilot, and I'm not just saying this because you're here. I love Copilot because it's been the easiest way to get normies into AI usage. There's so many times where I try to explain what ChatGPT is to people, and they're like, I gotta go and I gotta sign up for things. I gotta get my phone number. I gotta, I don't know. I was like, look, Copilot, just download the app and just ask it to do things. You don't know what to do? Make me a picture of a turtle that looks like an apple. It'll do something. And then people are like, oh, this is cool. You know what I mean? I recommend it to people who have podcasts who want to upgrade their logo design, stuff like that, that don't have funds. Like, here, just go play around, and maybe 5 or 6 iterations in, you find something that's gold. And that's what helps regular people use this technology and understand and get their feet wet. So Copilot is great for those on the spectrum of trying to learn what AI is. They're just getting their feet wet.
Point. As long as the big companies like Microsoft are going to foot the bill for it all, you might as well use it, right?
Exactly. And they're learning off of that model and what people search and how they search, and it also gives you more opportunity to try and fail. Because when you're paying for a service and you're paying for tokens, or you're paying for Midjourney, and you're like, I don't even know how to ask for what I want, and you fail and you fail and you fail, it can get pretty costly.
You can
to play that game. And again, for people just getting their feet in the door, I want people to learn how to use this stuff. I want people to use it. So I've been riding off the back of that. So I'm doing my part out here, Lou. I'm doing my part.
All right.
For the community. Ryan, what is our first story today?
First story of the day. All right, let's see what we got. McDonald's is ending its 2-year test of AI-powered drive-thru ordering developed in collaboration with IBM across more than 100 restaurants. The decision comes after mixed results, including customer complaints about incorrect orders and the technology's accuracy, which did not meet the company's standards.
Lou, you ever got an AI burger? You ever?
Oh yeah, it's funny because I always pull up to the drive-thru and you kind of see the two cars ahead of you. You hear the guy in his truck yelling at the screen, and then finally gets to the window and he gets his order and it's usually wrong or something like that. It's like you kind of know that there's something wrong with the system.
And the thing with me is that I've ordered from one of these automated systems. I think it was at a Wendy's, and I always ask for substitutions for things like no ketchup, extra ketchup, or something like that. And if I asked for something straight up, like, it worked. And once I realized it was a automated machine thing, I tried to trick it. And once you trick it, it doesn't have the responses that you would need for a regular person. And then a person would come on and do it. And so I think there's space for this kind of usage, mostly inside, like when the lines are longer and you want to use those kiosks,
right,
where you can touch everything and actually see it. But speaking to it, it can get rough. You got 5 kids in the car. They're yelling out, "I want fries." It's adding fries to the board. It doesn't seem like they were
right. It doesn't work. Yeah,
it doesn't work. It doesn't work. And that's not me saying I'm worried about people's jobs or anything like that. It's just maybe that system didn't work also because they're partnering with IBM. Now Google and Microsoft are coming out with different technologies, more advanced technologies, more advanced usages of this kind of stuff. So maybe they want to end it with IBM and say, hey, let's give somebody else a try.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm seeing through that one as well. I think I'm reading through the lines with the fact that I heard that they have some kind of new contract with Google. So, and it's part of that contract I'm hearing is also a deal with around some of their, LLMs and generative technology too. So my guess is there's something going on behind the scenes that we'll see something soon.
And there is a place for it. But again, my thing is just when there is chaos, I don't know if any of the systems are ready to handle that yet, because it's hard enough for a person to even understand it. And you deal with people who, some might have an attitude, they might have a bad day, they might order off.
It's a generational thing too. Like older people just don't want to use this technology. They just really don't.
So when I don't know how much fast food you eat, but do you use the app to order your stuff if you go through a fast food, or do you just go up to the drive-thru or whatever have you and order?
Yeah, I never used the app actually.
So I am now an exclusive app user. They have converted me only because of free things. So mostly I try not to eat fast food anymore because I'm already a dinosaur. But Wendy's is my preferred fast food, and they sent me an email that said, "Oh, free Nugget Wednesday, free any size Friday." So I'm like, and it's only through the app. So if I'm going there and I'm like getting a 5 for $5 for $4, and they're going to give me a large free fry for nothing, I use the app now. And the only problem is, like, man, I hate using my credit card all the time and blah, 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 blah. But it's just easy. So now they got me. They got me. I'm not putting money on the app because that's the thing that they want you to do. They want you to load
credits
the app with money because that's basically them having a bank. They hope that you put $50 on there, forget about it, never come back again. And they just get to pocket the money. But the free things on the app is crazy. I have a friend that goes to McDonald's all the time. She has her mom and other people use the app who don't want to use the app because they're older. She's like, look, when you go there, because they go every morning for coffee and a bagel or whatever. She's like, she gave him a screenshot of her code. So she's like, when you go pay with your cash, just have them scan your code. She's like, I get free food every week. I'm racking up thousands of points that they're just throwing away because they refuse to use the app. But they'll open up the picture log and show the picture so it gets scanned. I'm like, that's genius.
Wow, that's a good idea.
Yeah. That's because again, they're trying to reward you by using it, but like you said, there's a generational gap where some people I'm not doing that. I'm not giving McDonald's my phone access.
Yeah, I mean, I literally just saw it was an article yesterday that like flip phones are on the rise because people don't want to be connected anymore. And when we say people, we see people of all generations actually, but mostly obviously of the older generation. So,
and phones are basically phones. We're in the tech sphere. Ryan, how many apps do you think you have on your phone, Ryan?
Oh, way more than I use. I probably use about 12, and I probably have about 120.
So why do you keep them on there? Why don't you just delete some of them?
Because you never know. Like I have the Wingstop. Look, I can't get down with Wendy's since they shift from being yellow. I think yellow Wendy's was the best Wendy's. Period. All right. I'll fight anybody on that one. But Wingstop, for example, that's my place. I love Wingstop. You can't drive through, but it's really good. And they have an app, and that app makes things really easy and convenient. And I only get them once every month or two. so I barely ever use that app, but I got to keep it installed on my phone in case I'm hungry.
Well, one thing I'm very upset you put up that yellow Wendy's, because it instantly gave me like flashbacks of McDonald's with the styrofoam.
Oh.
When they used to have the Big Mac came in the styrofoam
when everything was brown.
Yeah. Oh man, that's funny. But yeah, phones now, I think I have like 400 apps on my phone, and I don't use them. And every time I think about going in and deleting them, I don't, because I think, oh, that takes time. Why would I do that?
Right.
And so people wanting a flip phone, people just want to call somebody, and a flip phone charge lasts like 3 days.
Right. Yeah.
3 days.
Well, they just don't want the distractions. I mean, there's notifications up the wazoo. There's there's social networking, there's TikTok, there's YouTube, there's all these things that are just total distractions. It's a way for people just to force the distractions out, get rid of that number. Like it's kind of like, when people purge or when they move, right? They just throw all their crap away. And so that's just one way of doing it. It's just go back to the older technologies. It doesn't have it.
You have kids, Lou?
I do. I have 5 kids.
Five kids? Oh yeah, you're
5 boys. Yeah,
you're never gonna have a flip phone ever again. 5 boys?
Yeah.
5 boys?
Man,
are you okay?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing well. I'm doing all right.
Oh man, your refrigerator must have a push rewind door on it. You got 5 boys. 5 boys, boy. That's rough. My cousin has 7 kids and he has 5 boys. And he's like, I might as well just leave the fridge open, because
there you go.
They're always eating, and they're always
like $500 a week just for food.
I was sitting there with my nephew the other day, and he had a cup, and he had it looked like a spoon, and I'm like, oh, what are you eating, ice cream out of it or whatever? He's like, oh no, they're waffles. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, there's 3 waffles. He made waffles and then stuffed them in a cup and was eating them out of the cup. And I'm like, why didn't you get a plate? He's like, the cup was closer. And I'm just like, boys are
out of plates.
Insane. And there were plates on the table. Like there's plates everywhere. He just put them in a cup because it's easier to carry around, I guess. So I'm glad you're doing okay. Blink twice if you need help, Lou. Blink twice. What's the next story, Ryan?
All right, man. 5 kids. I'm sorry. Google. Oh. I have 1 son and he's enough. Google Chrome on Android is adding a new feature called Listen to This Page, which provides built-in text-to-speech capabilities. Accessible through the 3-dot overview or overflow menu, this feature opens a mini player which controls for feedback. Man, it's a mini player. It has controls for playback, including adjusting the speed and selecting different voices. That sounds useful, but I think I've seen that like almost everywhere else already.
Well, Lou, I'll tell you one thing. If he butchers another read like that, Ryan's going to get replaced. Okay?
Oh my gosh.
All I need now is Chrome and 3 little dots. I'll train an AI model on your voice, and I will have you replaced by next week, Ryan. So I need you to get it together.
I was distracted by the thought of having 5 kids. Like,
well, that distracts a lot of people.
It is a lot. It is like, once they outnumber you, it's kind of like, well, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? But at the same time, he's got an army. You know what I mean? The apocalypse comes, Lou's ready to go. You know what I mean? Yeah, you get the upstairs.
Yeah, odds are I will survive.
You got a basketball team essentially right there.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
You're good to go. So regarding to this, it isn't something that isn't new. It's just again. More accessibility to regular people to access it and see it and use it and get used to it. I think more people will use this if it's more in the forefront like this. And again, it's just something that's nice and cute to do and showing me the power of AI.
Yeah, I'm big on all these accessibility features because I use them myself. And in fact, I'm one of those people that actually learns better by auditory channels, right? Listening, it's more engaging for me. So it's funny because when I read this story, I thought exactly that. I was like, Microsoft Edge has been around for a while and they've had this like read aloud feature for forever. And I would say that thing is the thing. I'll just go to a story, whether it's on Wall Street Journal or whatever, hit the button and then I'll just walk away and I'll hear the story, reading it to me. In fact, all the stories that you had sent to me here, I did that. So it's just a useful thing.
I feel vindicated as a person. I've been on Twitter for over a decade. I've been on a lot of podcast shows for many a year. And I tell you what, I do the same dang thing. I press the button. I sit on the couch. I let the thing tell me a story. Then I get mad. I got to get up and go to the next article. But I receive the information so much better. I also have a issue with. I have a little bit of a photographic memory issue. So the more things I actually look at, the more I forever retain information, and it's hard for me to get out of my brain. When I listen to it, I can take in the information and I can let it pass through to where it's not waking me up in the middle of the night. Like when I go to fill out applications for things, sometimes I still put my roommate's social security number down or my dad's social. Like sometimes my brain just blanks. I've got like 7 people's social like locked into my brain, and I have to like flip them. Is that my social? Like I literally have to remember what my last 4 are because 2 of the numbers are very similar to mine. Because I just see them when I think social, I see 7 of them. I don't see 1.
Oh, interesting.
So it's like reading things is always killed me. So I try to listen to as much content as I can, unless it's like a book or something like that. But so at least not just me. Lou does.
I'm in the reverse though. I'm in the reverse. If I read, I don't retain at all. Like I have to hear it. In fact, I'll read it to myself sometimes. Like I'm like the old person that reads out loud and that kind of thing. Like I have to hear myself read it in order for me to retain it. So it's kind of the opposite, actually.
Well, Ryan, can you read? You did a poor job.
Actually
dyslexic. I just want to know. Okay.
I'm a dyslexic technical writer.
Okay.
Full disclosure, every time I do a read, it's coming straight from ChatGPT. I tell it, hey, summarize this in 3 sentences. And then that's what I'm reading. So it works out pretty well that way.
So we're blaming the stammering on ChatGPT.
No, that's me. That's all me.
So you're saying that ChatGPT is using your voice model and putting in stumping blocks to make you sound more human.
No, that's Adobe.
That's
Adobe.
I got you. Next story.
All right. Next story here. Proton, the company behind privacy-focused apps like ProtonMail, is transitioning to a nonprofit foundation structure. This move aims to better align its mission of prioritizing user privacy over profit. That is a very good thing. I'm happy. Are you guys happy?
Why are you happy? Tell me why you're happy, Ryan. We want to hear from you.
If more tech companies went nonprofit, like the EFF, which is, I get it, it's an organization and all that. But if more tech companies went nonprofit, I think we would get better open source type of software solutions. I think everything going in the direction of, hey, we're not here to make $1 billion off of you, or we're just here to provide you a good product. I think that's a good thing to me.
That is so pure and so true. That I would applaud you if I cared enough to. That's great. That is the right sentiment. But Lou's got to feed these 5 children. we can't have everything being nonprofit out here. We need to make some kind of money. And the problem is, where do you stop making the money? How much money is enough money? How do you keep the doors afloat when there's a downturn, there's a slow period? Google's do no evil thing. Like that's the worst thing you could ever put on a letterhead. But there's a level to which, when does it stop before you can achieve, to attain, to lift? So yes, what you said was perfect. It sounded great. Lou, how do we achieve that, Lou, and still survive?
I mean, you think about it, privacy and security, they're like thankfulest jobs, right? They're things that are ever changing, and you're going to need profits to be able to stay up with the pace. And I think what they are doing is essentially shifting the narrative around the company. Say, hey, listen, we're not going to do this for free, but we're also not going to do this for profit. And so if you pay us, all that money is going to go into us keeping up with the times and doing the right thing and innovating in that, in that side of things, right? So I think that competitive nature, I like that. I mean, I think that's a great model to have. It is giving up on, like you said, like it's interesting because the closed market, the companies that are still for profit, they're able to innovate very quickly and very fast because of the fact that they are looking for always ways to build out their profit-based systems. So I think that's the thing, is how fast are they going to grow? How are they going to be able to keep up with their with this nonprofit model? I don't know. I'm rooting for them though. That's just like you said.
I there was a time period about 4 or 5 years ago when there were things happening on the internet, and I won't disclose them because Lou's here, but ProtonMail was very much in need, and it had a large boost of influx of users. And I found them very credible and stable. And even though at the time they were the only ones offering privacy and independence in their features and their usage, where Gmail was trying to clamp down on a lot of things. The email list, there's a lot of spam and stuff going on. And Proton, not only did they have all the basic features you needed, as you said, they also innovated. They realized, oh, okay, so people were tired of writing out ProtonMail, so they did PM dot whatever. And just little things like that where it does take money. And you're like, well, they're not making any money. How are they doing these things? But they need to innovate. And so there's a great balance to doing that. And if you could find that balance, it is, Ryan, I'm busting your chops, but that is the best way to be. The barter system did a lot for this world before they found out that gold was shiny and sparkly and they could make it be of value. So,
I'm gonna say something nice about Microsoft. I think Microsoft has one of the best offers for discounts on its software and products for nonprofit companies. It offers some incredible discounts for those businesses. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, they do
takes
actually.
care of the kids too.
It does. Yeah. All 5 of them.
That's right, all 5 of them.
I met in school. It's because there was a time period where my daughter's current school was all Gmail based, and now they have a lot of Microsoft products. And I don't know if the school did a contract or whatever they did with it, but it was easier for her to use all of the Microsoft stuff as opposed to the Google stuff.
I mean, it wasn't just better. It was no, I'm only kidding.
And better is relatively speaking, though, right? Like to me, it's almost like indistinguishable. But in my mind, I grew up on Microsoft Word. I grew up on Excel. I grew up. So
same.
When they switched back over, I felt happy. I felt like it was better. I felt like my child is experiencing what I experienced, because there was a time period where I was like, man, everything's on the Chromebook. I'm like, I don't want this. I don't want all the Google everything. Like I want some kind of independence. And it's just a weird shift in time. So
it's funny. Like, all my kids are on Google, Gmail and Chromebooks and all that stuff. And it's funny because I literally work for the Excel team. Like that's who I work for. And when they're on Google Sheets or whatever, and I'm like, but Google, the Excel's been doing that for like 20 years, and they can't do that. Like what the? It's like I'm constantly saying that.
And like I said, it's you work for them. I'll let you say it all the time. But sometimes when I say this, I feel like an old person. I'm like oh, back in my day, we used to. It doesn't da 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 da. And then I say, oh well, maybe because it's free, it doesn't have the horsepower. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you want a free Toyota Corolla? Sure. Do you want a Toyota Supra? Because the Microsoft is a Supra. Like you want a coupe?
I love the Supra.
You know what I mean? That you got to pay a little bit for it. So, very funny and interesting model. But yeah, Ryan, you're right, but you're wrong.
Going with what y'all were saying, your kids on Chromebooks. My son is obsessed with Minecraft. He watches little Minecraft YouTube channels and everything, and they're always playing in the Java edition. And can you talk to the teams that are responsible for keeping Java edition off of every other operating system? Because I had to teach this kid how to use Windows just so that he could go back in time to alpha or whatever on Minecraft. I'm telling you.
It's funny you say that, because I knew a guy who actually we used to work for the Minecraft team over in Redmond, and he, it's interesting because, dealing with all these different platforms is complicated. And so when they built their latest graphics pipeline that supports like iOS and Android and Xbox and ARM and x86 and all these different architectures, like that was more efficient for them to do that way. So like the Java platform is really just for really hardcore modders and people who want to really get into the gaming code and make some deep changes. And so they keep it up, but it's still a kind of a hard thing to kind of move between those different platforms. So that's why you're not going to see it maybe show up in some of these other places.
Yeah, and with Bedrock Edition, man, I'd love to play that on Mac. But hey, you know what? Minecraft, 15 years going, and it's still going strong. So
yeah, it's crazy. My kids love it too. It's amazing.
Minecraft gets on my nerves. My daughter's about to be 17 years old, and it's summertime. So this is going to happen randomly 3 nights in the summer. I will hear screaming. I'll run into the room, and she's in there doing Roblox chat, and I'm like, "Why are we screaming at Roblox, like Minecraft. Like this is just Minecraft Roblox. Like this isn't a horror game. This isn't like Call of Duty. Like what is going on? And she's like, I'm on a speed run. I'm like, you're hitting blocks and with pigs. Like it's not that serious.
My kids too. Like I'll hear them yelling in the room, like, "What the hell are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, we're in this like we're on this server that we're running around and blah blah blah. We're tagging each other, like gorilla tagging each other or whatever." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh."
Okay. And then one time, I like she's on her phone. And like sometimes I get annoyed like when she's really on her phone, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" Like you're so, it's like, "Oh, I'm playing Minecraft." I'm like, "Why?" Then I get mad. I'm like, "Bro, you've got a $3,000 PC, a 42-inch monitor. Like you got like, why are you on your phone?" She's like, "Because my friends don't have they don't have PCs, so you could play for free together on the phone." And she said that to me like 6 times. I viscerally get angry when I walk in her room and she's watching Game of Thrones on her phone instead of on the TV that I have mounted on the wall. So when you tell me that you're playing a video game on your iPhone instead of on this PC that's sitting here, because it's not all the time, but it's sometimes I'm just like, use it. She's like, but I have to do it this way because they don't have it. And they can only have it on phone. Like, so again, yeah, Microsoft did a good job. They put it everywhere. They got options. They got options.
Yeah.
And 15 years they have been keeping it strong. I just don't get it. I'm an old man. I don't understand. Like she builds things and shows me, and I'm like, it looks like the other block city in the clouds with the pig house farm that you made. Cool. Like, and she's 16. Like you're not a 5 anymore. Like I don't get it. I don't get it. Next story.
All right. Next story here. Logitech has introduced the MX Inc. Its first third-party input device for Meta Quest headsets designed for creatives in 2D and 3D media. This stylus, compatible with Quest 2 and Quest 3, features a natural pin-like feel, pressure-sensitive tip, and 6D OF spatial tracking. It will launch in September with prices starting at $130.
So scroll down. Is there imagery of this?
Yeah, I was going to say this thing kind of looks like somebody's holding an appliance.
Yeah. So, how do you feel about wearing things on your face, Lou?
You know, I got used to it. Like I actually was one of the testers for the original HoloLens, and I would say like I got used to it after a while. And so like this is actually very interesting because obviously they do really well at hand tracking and all that stuff. But like when it comes to really intricate fidelity when you're writing, it's really hard. Like it doesn't work. Like have you ever tried to write something with your finger? It's always like you mess it up. So like this is actually pretty interesting. I'm curious to see people and how they come up with, whether it's art or whatever with this type of a device, although it's kind of big and bulky. So I don't know how they're going to do with it.
So Ryan, go back to the article and scroll down. I think there's another image where they have the Quest goggles on, and that one. Put that back up on the screen. So right. I am anti goggles. I'm anti glasses. I'm anti anything on your face that isn't like a pair of sunglasses. Anything above a pair of sunglasses, just get me until I get to that generation, because you look like Lawnmower Man to me. You look silly, it's bulky, and you're sweating. I mean, I got cool gel headphones on right now, and after an hour and 20 minutes, my ears start sweating. I don't have the bandwidth for it. So to tell me that you're an artist and you already have the power to create things on multiple tablets, multiple devices that are instantaneously deletable, recoverable, scalable, and mappable, but you need to have these goggles on to create this kind of art. What is it doing for you? What is it showing you? What value does it have? And again, technology has to get pushed forward, but this looks ridiculous to me. It upsets me, and it's so cringe. Like, I just don't like anything about it, Lou. Am I wrong?
Well, is he physically, he's physically drawing in this picture, right? So like, that seems weird too.
The tip is pressure sensitive, so it seems like you would have to physically touch something.
Right.
Or
interesting.
So, and again, we don't know because this hasn't launched yet. No one's actually had it to test it. But my basic point is that, again, we're going to talk about another goggle system set and virtual reality and AR and VR and all that kind of stuff. And again, there's value in, my house is empty. I'd like to put a couch here, and I'd like to actually see the couch in the space, not just on a screen. That I get. Okay, you want to play a video game and you want to play the drums for 14 minutes? Cool. You want to hit a fake ball out of cool. All those things are gimmicky and short-lived. But when you start trying to do production and productivity with this, how long can you sit with those goggles on?
It's true.
How long can you watch The Revenant on Google? I mean, not Google, on Apple Vision Pro.
Vision, yeah.
Are you going to sit there for 3.5 hours with your 120-inch screen on the wall? It just, I don't know. It feels weird to me. I don't like it. Ryan, do you want one?
I had a MetaQuest 3.
And I bullied you out of that, but carry on.
I kept it for a couple weeks, and I did watch one movie on it, and it wasn't a great experience. It's one of those things where it's great to play with, but it's just still a little bit too blurry. It's not quite right. Maybe Apple has something going, but I'm not spending basically the price of a used car on something to put on my face.
And the one thing I'll give all of this technology is, because I've always tried it out and played with it. Back in the day, stuff used to make me nauseous. Now I don't get nauseous anymore. I can at least put these things on and walk around and just feel dumb in a normal way. I didn't feel sick and queasy on top of it. So at least there's that.
Except when I played that, you ever played that plank game on these devices where you walk the plank?
Yo, no, because I'm too big, Lou. So I give you a perfect example of how I'm too big. I went to my friend's house that lives in the cabin, and it's an older house. It's got one of those little click metal doorknobs where you click it to unlock it. And I couldn't open the door. I was with a female. She walks over, she clicks it, pushes the door open. She's like, "What's the problem?" I'm like, "I've ripped doorknobs off. I've ripped doors off hinges because I'm so heavy-handed. I'm scared to death to put pressure on things." I tried to play that game. I fell over, and then when I was falling, I'm thinking, I would have busted somebody's wall like the Kool-Aid man. And I shut that whole thing down. You know what I mean? I fell on the couch.
Yeah, you lose. It's disorienting for sure.
It was super disoriented. I didn't feel sick, but that was something that felt real. That was like, man, the perception and everything, like you feel like you're there. So, like I said, the technology is getting there, but I just need it to be lighter, and I need to be able to see out the corner of my eye to know that somebody's sneaking up on me and coming to get me. What's the next story?
All right. The U.S. House of Representatives passed the National Defense Authorization Act, or NDAA, which includes a provision banning DJI from using FCC frequencies. This ban would prevent DJI drones from being imported or approved in the United States and could potentially ground existing drones. The bill now moves to the Senate for approval. If passed, it will be sent to the president to be signed into law.
This is an interesting one.
What do you think about this?
Yeah, this is interesting because obviously they have this AccuSync transmission service that they use, and it's like it ranges from 4 gigahertz all the way to 5 gigahertz. Like it's a pretty big broad spectrum that they can utilize when they have this system. And so, obviously this seems like just a way to continue to block in China import technology, right? I think that's really what its main goal here is. I don't think it's like the way the bill's written, focusing on these particular frequencies. I mean, DJI, they could just change the frequencies, right? Like they don't need to. Although the current devices might not be able to have that, but new devices, why not let them import new devices that have different frequencies? So yeah, I'm very curious to see what happens with this one.
So, from my understanding, this is pretty much a done deal because they sneaked this bill into a megacorp bill that has so many other things that have to get done. So the bill essentially ends up getting passed. Then looking into it, it seems that what you said would be the optimal thing to do, have them just go out on a new frequency. But in this bill, it seems that they want to ban them from using all frequencies, to which it really is TikTok, China can't be here anymore. We're not friends. And to which I say, you're messing with my money, Lou. You're messing with my money. For audio listeners, I'm reaching for something right now.
I mean, I don't know anybody who does. Yeah, I'm gonna say
I got a DJI Mini 2 I've been trying to sell because I got a DJI 4 Pro and ain't nobody buying it right now because everybody's thinking these things are gonna get grounded.
They're gonna be grounded.
So my resale isn't going anywhere. So I'm stuck with an extra drone that I might not be able to fly. Then I'm gonna have 2 drones that I can't fly. And the thing that cracks me up the most about it in general is I know that you're upset, but at the same time, you know how long DJI has been flying around the country? They've already mapped everything. They know where your silos are. They know where the dogs are. They know where the cats are. If this was the case 1 year in, cool. It's been at least a good decade of them mapping the world. China knows where everything is. It's over. So now you're just, what are you protecting?
Yeah, and the thing is with the DJI too, like they are just, I don't know. I've had other drones of other aftermarket, third party, directly from China, local companies are trying to build them here. They're just that much more refined than the rest of the other companies. Keeping that kind of competitive market out there would hopefully push other companies to be just as good, with their AI and their, their processing and their transmission and all that stuff. But there isn't somebody who can really keep up with them at this point. So, I mean, blocking them is not going to help us.
And here's the thing about that too. So one, I heard a politician try to say, well, they're trying to keep drugs and cell phones out of prisons. They're flying drones over and dropping things off. It's not about bombs and blowing up things. It's about contraband and paraphernalia. Okay, cool. You think other drones won't fly over the wall at a jail prison? Okay. Secondly, then right now there is a company, I'm not even going to name them because I'm so mad about the whole situation because I done spent my hard-earned money, and if my money goes to waste, everybody got to burn. But there's a company now that is making a drone that looks exactly like a Mavic Pro 3. It is green, and guess what? It's an American-based company who has partnered with DJI. So DJI has already said, okay, well, we can't be the company there. Well, we're going to let them use our infrastructure, our systems, and everything else, but they'll be an American company that they're partnered with so they can make money. So DJI is going to keep making money off of these drones. I'm going to lose money on the stuff that I already spent, and America's going to get to feel better about it. Again, I tell people all the time, we're already too far gone in the world to worry about technology. Do you think everything that you buy that's electronic, we don't make anything in America anymore. We are a service country. We are podcasters, and we are we are a service nation. We don't build anything. Your monitor made in Taiwan, Cambodia, wherever it's coming from, the metal, the batteries, everything is not made from here. So if they wanted to put a kill switch in every single monitor they send here one day and just click a button, it's already over for you. So I don't like that our politicians are playing these Mickey Mouse games, especially when regular Americans for fun and for work use these drones, and they work the best.
They do.
They just work. So I know it's not good audio, but I'm super angry about it, and I'm upset. Ryan, do you have anything contrary to say about this?
No, man. I love DJI's camera equipment. The Pocket 3, for example, is one of the greatest pocket cameras I've ever owned. The gimbal on it is seamless. It's got a great sensor, the whole nine. They're drones. I haven't used one personally, but I hear they're great. It's kind of a shame that it's almost like we're going through the Red Scare again, where we're like banning all their social networks and we're banning their equipment and everything, but we're still, everything made like from Apple, for example, is still coming from China. So it's not like they're changing anything.
What are we doing? Lou, fix it. Fix it, Lou.
Hey, we don't make phones anymore, so I don't give example.
So I do miss my Samsung BlackBerry or Blackjack. I gotta say.
I know you're busy with Excel over there, but it might be time to upgrade and make a lateral shift because you might be able to bring the phone back. Because pretty soon, it seems like
I love the Windows Phone. I was a big fan of it.
I used to love the Windows Phone too. I'm one of those loser nerds that love the Zune. Like I still
have a Zune. Yeah, I was on Twit last week and I showed them my Zune. They're like, "You still got a Zune?" I'm like, "Yeah, I use it every day."
Someone stole my Zune, and it is like one of the. I had 3 things that were stolen from me that made me upset. That was one of them. I had a jersey that a girl stole, and it was like one of my old Reggie White jerseys. And it the Zune is like, man, I just wanted to keep that thing. I was never even going to charge it back up, but I just liked having it, and it disappeared on me. So, but yeah, go talk to somebody. Make it happen, Captain. Make it happen, Captain. We have to retake over NVIDIA, and this might be the way to do it before everything else gets shut down here, because America's playing games, and it's what we do. What's the next story?
All right. Let's see. Next story. I better not mess up this read. Microsoft has released a series of Copilot Plus PCs featuring Snapdragon 10 or Snapdragon X chips designed for enhanced AI processing. These devices, including models from Dell, HP, Acer, and Microsoft, incorporate dedicated neural processing units or NPUs for a local AI tasks and a dedicated Copilot button for AI features. I
Lou,
like
did you
it.
get you pre-order one of these yet, Lou? What are you doing?
You know, we have just the units that we have internally, and I would say they're pretty fantastic. Like they are, regard like get outside, get rid of the co-pilot part of it, right? The processing part of it for AI. They're just amazingly fast. Like they are power efficient. They're amazingly fast. You know, you kind of compare it to a MacBook Pro at this point in their NPU and that kind of thing. Like it's right up there. Like it's right up there with them. So I think, you know, for at least now, like until the M4 comes out or whatever, but they're actually really nice PCs.
So, Ryan, what do you think about this? I'll let you jump in here real quick. I go off on my rant.
You know what? I've heard great things about that Snapdragon
Yeah.
processor. I've heard that it's pretty screaming fast, especially where for its power requirements. So I'm on board with it. I'm on board with anything that pushes technology further. And if Copilot can help, you know, in the constant stream of, hey, Dada, how do you do this in Minecraft? Then I'm all for it. If he has a button he can push and ask that computer questions, oh, yeah, go for it.
So I actually love this for two reasons. Forget the MacBook Pro situation comparison. It's the lighter, thinner, faster aspect that I enjoy of it. I'm at the age now where I don't want my laptop to be a powerhouse. I could build a PC that's a dinosaur machine that does actually what I want it to do. And I'm tired of trying to cram that into laptops. I'm tired of trying to have that be all everything. I just want like a MacBook Air or a tablet. And I suggest lighter things for other people to use too, because you'll actually take it with you. You'll use it. So the sex appeal for all these devices is one thing. The price range around them all seems average around like $1,300. So that's a good price range for something that has a lot of power and speed to it. Drop out gaming. Like all the things I read are like trying to game. No one in this market, in this space, cares about gaming. If they do, you don't have enough power to game to make those people happy. Just stop advertising, stop talking about it, stop discussing, stop bringing it up. This is not for that. Later on, like you said, they'll have, you know, some Intel chips, some AMD chips that can compete with a desktop. But for right now, these things are sleek, sexy, and powerful. And some of these things I'm reading, like getting 22 hours of battery life, usage life, that's like cell phone time frame. That's a real all day usage on a laptop. That's what I want. I don't need to game on this thing. I don't need the power drain down. I want to throw on a podcast and read articles or do my data entry and then not have to worry about it cutting off or plugging into a wall. I want to be able to take a day trip and not have to bring power with me. And that is what's sexy about this. That's really cool. And then on top of it, like I said before, the Copilot system in general is user-friendly. It is beginner-friendly. It is welcoming to people to get into. So if you're not looking to get into the AI thing, you don't care about the Copilot, you just want a thin, lighter, faster, reasonably affordable, powerful laptop, you get this. And then you're like, oh, wow. It's also correcting things for me. It's suggesting how to write my emails better. It's formulating some things in my Excel that I can just type in something and it's going to help clean up things. Those are all ancillary things that as a stepping stone become really nice and really good. But I just like the way some of these laptops look, and the price point is really great. That Asus VivoBook, that thing looks really nice.
Yeah, I think for me, like I think the biggest thing is these NPUs that they're going to be able to run in these devices. I think that's a big deal too, because a lot of people obviously are really uneasy about AI. They're like, oh, where's my data going? I'm giving away my life, so these models can consume it. And you know, I think the biggest thing is this makes it easier for some of these models, some of the smaller models, to run on the edge. So run directly on your machine. So the data is, you know, whatever data is on your machine already, you can utilize and actually run the model directly without sending your data to the cloud. And so things like if you're generating an image, or if you're adjusting and doing voice translation, or if you're doing, you know, some of these things that can happen all locally, you know, this can all happen using this kind of coprocessor that doesn't consume the main battery, and it's more efficient. And so now, you know, I think that's really what's going to push this forward. Copilot's great. It's going to do some amazing things. But I think when these other vendors start utilizing the fact that they can do this on the edge now, especially Microsoft and other players in the market, that's where things start to shift forward, I think.
And to say to what you're talking about, like with people and their information and giving it up. Now we're going to talk about Adobe later on here, but in general, unless you have that flip phone you were talking about earlier, you're already giving away so much of your information.
It's true.
Lou's got 5 kids. You think these kids aren't spilling the beans at school, talking about my dad ran over a sock yesterday? People are already in your business. They're already spreading your information. Your mother-in-law has posted a horrible picture of you on Facebook when you were 12 that you didn't want anybody to see, and she's telling you happy birthday. Like, your information is no longer secure and safe unless you live on a compound and have a Faraday cage built around you. So how much of your life are you worried about being exposed to the internet? Unless you plan on writing Great Gatsby all over again, my goodness, it's going to be okay. You are a listening device. You are giving away your information. You don't have to worry about everyone stealing it because you're giving it away for free.
It's already gone. Yeah. That's what they say. All tech. What is it? All security people nowadays, if you meet, doesn't matter who you meet. If they're a security person, if they're CISO or whoever, just they always tell you this: just assume breach, assume that people already have your data. Just that's the assumption you should make. And when you secure things, that's how you secure them. You just know that it's already been stolen. So what are you going to do to keep the next guy out? Basically,
I live in a black box. My home is under LLCs and trusts. My car is not in my name. My cell phone's not in my name. Like, I live in a bird box of information, and people can still find me if they really wanted to. Like, they easily could. So and I do all those things for business purposes, for tax purposes, not even for just hiding from people. But still, you can be found. And again, I'm on the internet every day. I'm using my phone every day. I realized this maybe 10 years ago, before everything was like really known. I was calling my cell phone provider, and I was telling them about a problem with the bill. And she's like, oh, do you want to call me back when you get where you're going? And I'm like, what? And she's like, it seems like you're going really fast. Seems like you're going like 60 miles an hour. And I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, your phone's moving really quick. Do you want to call me? And I'm in the passenger. She's like, my friend's driving. How do you know where I'm? And they can see where I'm going on the phone. And that's something that they usually don't disclose. I never thought that they would be live tracking me while they're talking to me. That blew my mind. I was like, what? So no matter what you're doing, unless you got that, like I said, flip phone, Faraday cage, on a farm, never connect to the internet, no birth certificate, like you're already giving up so much information. Yeah. So yeah, yay new laptops, yay, everything but gaming. Just that's the thing that irks me the most when they try to explain that, oh, we're gaming, we're doing this and that, because there's certain communities that will just harp on the negativity of that and bring down the value of what they're really offering and the impressiveness that they have. Yeah, it might not run 120 frames per second of Tomb Raider, but it does everything else you need it to do. Like I said, I one of those is boasting 22 hours battery life. If I got 16 hours battery life straight up, I'm good. I'm going to sleep, bro. I'm good. I made it through the day. So
I have one of those Dell, the nice Dell i9 machines. I think this one right here, this battery lasts probably an hour. I mean, it's unbelievable. Like, yeah. I can't. I have to be tethered to some kind of plug. It doesn't matter where I go. I could be sitting on my deck and I have a extension cord through the window. Like, it's just unbelievable.
I made a mistake, and I got a HP Spectra, and it is powerful. Like, I can run Premiere on and everything like that. But I get 2.5 hours of doing like real work on it, and it's dead. Yeah. And it's like, oh, it's ultra thin, it's touchscreen. I was like, I didn't need all these things that I did, but it looks so sexy. It's gold. And so, yeah, I'm excited for this. And Lou, if you get any extras, you just get tired of it, you want to send your boy one. I'll test it out. I'll get lost in the mail going back to you. Don't worry about it. Next story, Ryan.
All right, we kind of touched on this already, but early tests of Qualcomm's new Snapdragon X Elite laptops reveal that while they excel in AI tasks, their gaming 3D performance is underwhelming. The Snapdragon X Elite demonstrated excellent AI performance, significantly outperforming competitors like Apple's M3 and Intel's Core Ultra 7 in AI-specific benchmarks. However, in gaming tests, the Snapdragon X Elite struggled managing only 30 FPS in games like Baldur's Gate 3, Borderlands 3, and requiring low graphics settings just to be playable. And, personally, I wanted to jump in earlier on this one. I play my games on like NVIDIA GeForce Now, on Xbox Cloud Gaming. I've used cloud services for gaming, and I've never looked back. They have been excellent for at least the past few years.
So, yeah, don't complain. I just don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about gaming. It's not the market for it. And I know that gaming is a marketing ploy to exemplify power. Because if you could play that game, this is the raw power that we're putting out, and we can run. True. That's why they do it. I don't care. I don't want to hear about it. Apple. Stop doing it too. Stop giving me 30 minutes of real engine of a game that no one's ever played in their life. I've never met one person that's played any one of those real engine games that you spend 30 minutes on every year telling me the real engine power of the game. Not one. Stop it. I can't stand it. It does make me angry, though. It's a little pet peeve. It's getting on my nerves. Just focus. What else?
Oh, you want the next story?
Yeah, we're out of here. We already talked about it.
All right. Here we go. Xreal has launched the Beam Pro, an advanced Android-based device designed to enhance its AR glasses. The Beam Pro features a 6.5-inch 90 Hz LCD screen, dual 50-megapixel cameras for 3D photo and video capture, and runs on a customized Android 14-based Nebula OS, optimized for augmented reality. It supports up to 8 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of expandable storage, Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth 5.2, and includes 2 USB-C ports for connecting AR glasses and charging simultaneously.
You getting one, Lou?
I'm gonna get one. It's funny. I would say I was one of the first testers of HoloLens, and and then I've checked out Magic Leap. I've heard about Ray Neo. Like, there's all these devices, and so having these huge computers tethered to your head is not something I want. And I think this is an interesting one because now it's not tethered to your head anymore. You're tethered to your belt or wherever you're going to put this machine. I'm not a big fan of tethering, so like probably not. Like I don't care if it's on my belt or not.
So throw it back up on the screen, Ryan. This again, I trash this stuff all the time. I don't like any of it. Is there another image? Scroll down.
Yeah, there's one with the wire that you can see.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. So I do like that this is more like a sunglass.
Right.
So I was speaking to that earlier. So it is lighter. It's one of those things where am I going to carry an extra cell phone around with me? Because it looks like a little juice battery pack. And it's smaller than the Vision Pro. If you wanted to get me in on something, you could get me in on this closer too. The fact that it has dual USB-C ports, I could charge it, I could use it. I try it. It's lighter. This is the thing I was speaking to earlier. For me to get it on my face and to wear it, I feel like I could wear something like this longer to play around with it. I think the price point is around $450. That's not
bad.
That's not egregious. Ryan, correct me if I'm wrong about that. But this is something where I would actually try this. I'm not going to buy it because I'm just fully against it. I'm going to wait another 10 years. There's a few things I've been right about in this world, right? And this is one of them. I've been ripping on this technology since the Lawnmower Man. I said this is never going to be a thing. Don't stop trying to make it fetch. It's not going to be fetch. And I've been right this whole time. But this is more along the lines of what I expect the future to be like. If Apple Vision Pro did what it does and it looked like that, they would have got my $3,500 because I would have said, oh, this is Apple. They're doing that. It's lighter. It's fine. But when you put on snow goggles and a juice pack that's like 4 phones stacked up together, and I got to strap it to my back, like I'm out. and like you said, it costs a used car. I'm out.
You know what I don't get is, like, we just talked about DJI, right? Everyone who's used DJI, they know that they have low latency video transmission from long distances. Why can't they do that with these glasses, right? Where you just have, you're using your cell phone or whatever, you're using some other, radio that's in the device that allows you to stream the data from your phone then you don't have to be tethered at all. I don't understand why that technology doesn't exist. Obviously there's a battery consumption problem because the device has to have more batteries on it to show it, but augmented reality, I can't imagine, unless you're watching videos and stuff, can take a lot of battery. So
yeah, taking video out, to bring up DJI, they've improved vastly their LiDAR system that they have,
right?
And it is incredibly accurate, and it's in a small enough package to where, like, okay, like you said, it might still be a little bit bulky, but you're not far off from being able to use that kind of technology and have that kind of a system in place. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there, and in 5 or 10 years, I'll finally have to eat crow, and I'll be wearing them. I did wear the Snap glasses, the Ray-Bans that came out, and that's cool just to be able to take video or take a couple pictures with your glasses on, like playing music through your headphones and glasses. Like, those things are neat and understandably useful. We're gonna get there. All this stuff is just a ploy and a gimmick, but you have to have the gimmick to get to the real stuff
before you get there. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we have to advance technology.
I personally believe that augmented reality is where the future is, and not so much virtual reality. I think if you can augment real life, I think you can get a lot more done. I think people are more apt to use it because it won't make them as sick, or there isn't
everyone
that
wants
much
to be Iron Man, right?
Yeah, exactly. And if they can get it shrunk down to a contact lens, I'm in 100%.
So we talked about how ICQ died a while ago in IRC, and you'd go in there and find chat rooms and do fantasy worlds and building, and you'd have like Second Life where you make an avatar and you'd like have a job and you're working, you build a house. Like I had a friend who was caught up in that and like fell in love and almost got a divorce in a game. And I'm like, bro, this is a game. This person might be a dinosaur from 1942 over there. You don't know what's going on in this fake world that you built a home with, and you show up every Wednesday to play house for an hour and just like get out, come out. So I'm fully on board with augmented reality. So you at least keep your 1 foot on the ground as opposed to just living in that dream world, in that dream state. And again, at some point it is going to be the future, and it is going to be what it is. But my goodness, just it's nice to have something tangible and hold in your hands and know that it's real. We have enough escapism, like I said, just in your reading and your music and your videos. So augmented, I'm all for. I accept that so much more than I do virtual reality worlds. What else, Ryan?
All right. According to reports from the Wall Street Journal, despite glamorous perception, many social media influencers actually struggle financially. While top influencers with millions of followers can command high fees, smaller influencers often find it challenging to secure a steady income.
So, Lou, I don't know if you know this. I don't pay Ryan to do this job. So even though I berate him and yell at him and sometimes make him feel bad about himself and his subsequent weeding skills, he's not getting paid to do this. We are not in the big bucks yet. You ask, Lou, how can you help us? You can help us by subscribing on YouTube to get us over 1,000 followers so that we can make some money on ad revenue. Once we do that, I will put Ryan to work into making some TikToks and Reels so that I can sell gadgets against his voice, and then we can make money that way. There's all kinds of ways to make money as influencers, but right now we're broke, Lou. We're not making any money. It's totally fine. We're happy to be here with you. We're happy that you showed up with us. Life is still good. Okay, we don't have 5 kids. We are blessed. We are hanging on. We can feed our one child, Lou. We are holding on strong. When we have a bad day, Ryan, we will think of Lou. We will think of Lou and know that this man is carrying the torch. He is carrying the torch for all of us. So it's funny because when you read that article, influencers making $56,000, it's like, oh, I'm only making the median. A lot of people are working at Walmart and only making $20,000 and still are on food stamps and need government assistance. A lot of people are teachers are making $52,000 and they're out there educating our children. So if you're making 56 and that's the median for higher up influencers, of course, there's some that are only making $200 a month. But for a person who has left their full-time job and their full-time job is influencer, for your medium to be 56,000, you're living in a van, you're traveling, you're whatever you're doing, you're making good money. It's not great money, but it's good money. And that great money shrinks because now everybody wants to do it.
Right. Yeah. Critical mass. I mean, you get critical mass. I mean, the market's flooded. You have to be something special. I mean, it's just like the entertainment business, right? I mean, not everyone's going to be a host. Not everyone's going to be, Taylor Swift. Not everyone's going to be these people. You have to have something special. And now they're starting to realize, oh crap, like, I actually have to be something different, something special now in order to be able to start making money again.
And the one thing that I'll say that influencers need to understand that they need to do is influencing is great. Finding a brand that's going to support you is great. While you're doing that, you need to also have a business.
Right. So
whether like, I'm wearing old doctor shirts, like if you're a guy in a van, you need guy in a van shirts so people can buy them. You can't just go and say, well, I'm doing this for this camping company. Okay. Well, when the camping company gets done running their campaign and you've amassed these millions of followers, if you can only get 1% to buy a shirt from you. That's where you make the money at. And I look at so many influencers that don't capitalize on those things. Stickers, whatever it is, something that you're doing to promote yourself with merchandise to help you. So a lot of influencers lose that. That's the one reason why people are so upset about TikTok, because TikTok allows people to sell products now with TikTok Shop, and it's so easy and ingrained in the system that you don't have to go outdoor to Amazon or go click a link and go to Amazon and log in and have an account. You can shop, buy, and get quick shipping right through TikTok. So if you're following a girl who does great makeup tutorials and she's like, this is the eyelash roller that I use, you're like, oh man, I can click this button and pay $3.99 and get it delivered in 2 days. Awesome. And they get like 10%. That's fine. But when you got 1 million followers and you get 100 people to do it and you get a check for $300, now you're making money. So these influencers need to think of themselves more as a business and not just an influential business for other businesses to make some more money and be more sustainable. Because if TikTok goes away, if you're an actual business, you'd understand that there are other ways to make money.
Right. And I mean, I can tell you, I know a lot of influencers who have done really well and now they're all burnt out. And so, it's kind of the flip side of this too, which is, they kill themselves trying to have continuous, consistent, reliable stuff. And now they're done. So, it's not a sustainable thing sometimes. It's like, I can't imagine having to do it full time.
Yeah. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors when it comes to, especially making media on the internets. At one point, I would be flown out. HP would fly me out to Vegas for a week to do whatever the HP Discover conference. Then I would go to Seattle. I'd go to San Francisco. I'd have printers show up at my front door that companies want me to review. And what it looks like is that I'm buying every phone that ever came out. It looks like I own all these printers. Dude, they make you send it back, or you get stuck with a closet full of printers that you'll never use.
Right.
And you're not getting paid necessarily to get dragged out to all these shows. You're basically just, working for free, just for the airline ticket, just so that you can make content. And so, it's a lot harder of a struggle than I think a lot of people realize.
So I do a lot of things secretly, Lou. You've probably seen my tweets annoyingly. I do a lot of sports stuff too, right? So I make these reels and TikToks, and some of them have 2 million views, 30,000, 15,000. And another ones have 1,500. This one has 824, and then 72,000 right next to it. And I'm like, man, my last 3 went for 30,000 each, and then I had one for 824. Like it almost discourages you. And I had to tell myself, you know what? It's summertime. Football season is down. My baseball team is doing good. I'm not going to make a video every day. I'm not going to comment on every single thing that comes out, because you're right about the burnout. You start living and dreaming. Again, I know as a rational person, that's not how it's supposed to be, but you chase that high, you chase that adrenaline, and you trace the lure of people looking at you like, man, oh, Black Gritty had 100,000 views on his thing. Like, that's great. Then when I don't hit it, I'm like, well, do people not like it? Or did it not? It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with algorithm, timing, whatever. My content is good. It's always consistent, but you do get burnt out. And I've been on the internet long enough that I just pause and do stuff. Unfortunately, people that watch the show, this is the 3rd iteration of this show. People are like, don't leave. But guess what? Sometimes when you're doing something, that's why I can't do an everyday tech show. It's like, tech isn't that much fun, bro. Like, you think it's fun. Like, you and I, Lou, we've been laughing a lot today. It's because I do it once a week for an hour instead of every single day with the Microsoft got done with this. And you're like, oh, well, Cobalt had a recall. They're fixing the problem. How many times are going to harp on the problem? They realize something's wrong. They're fixing it. Can we wait till it gets fixed before we keep kicking a dead horse? You know what I mean? So you do have to focus on that and pay attention to your mentals and not burning out with whatever you do. That's anything in life.
That's true.
Ryan, how many stories we got left?
2 stories.
2 stories. Let's hit them.
All right. First up, Koros has introduced the Dura, a new GPS bike computer featuring a 120-hour battery life supported by solar panels, making it one of the most battery-efficient models available. The device includes a 2.7-inch color touchscreen, customizable data fields, and connectivity with multiple satellite systems. Priced at $249, it offers advanced features like crash detection, smart rerouting, and compatibility with popular cycling apps.
Is that an e-ink?
I don't know.
Is that a color e-ink?
It looks like it. Let me see.
Yeah, that makes sense. That would make sense, so they don't have to have the flicker and the batteries, last longer. So it would make sense if it had an e-ink.
There's no mention of that.
It does look like that. I'm not going anywhere on a bicycle anytime soon, but Ryan, I need you to write a letter to the founder and make it sound like I desperately need this because I want one. I don't care if they take it back. I just want to play with it. The only time I ride my bike anymore is to run my dog around, because walking my dog doesn't get her tired at all. So I ride on the bike and take the dog around.
I wonder how they actually fit to the dual frequency GPS in there, which means it's low band, high band, which that's also really power efficient. So it's really kind of a cool device.
It really is. And the size of it is nice too. Like, I don't know. Dumb things like that. Like, we keep saying it over and over again today, but just pushing technology forward and creating things that are useful for things. Again, I'm not a cyclist, but I know people who do those marathons and things like that. And having something like this would be great and a game changer for them, especially with that kind of battery power. Like, those people out there doing long hauls, riding for
hours is amazing.
Yeah. That's crazy, because the biggest thing about any of these electronics is always the main issue. When I talk about battery power, it's I'm using it, I don't feel like plugging it back in. So if I go out for a 5-hour ride, I can go 3 or 4 times without having to plug this in and charge it back up again. And that means you'll use it more, because you know how it is. Once you start using something, you'll forget to charge it, and then you don't want to do it again, or you don't do it again. You just go out for your ride like normal, and you're like, oh, it's fine, I'll just use my phone, which is hit or miss with that. These things usually have better connectivity, better service range. So we're not cyclists, but
I can't imagine that the solar panels do much, though. I mean, what they generate 1 watt of energy over like a 24-hour period or something like that. Like, seems interesting that they decided to throw solar in there too.
I assume I assume it's because they're out there on their bikes, right? They're like, you're already out in the sun, you might as well get that free 1 watt of power while you're riding. You know what I mean? I wasn't gonna make fun of that, but since you brought it up, it's like it threw everything but the kitchen sink on that power list. And
might as well.
It sounds cool. Somebody's gonna buy it just for that. All they're gonna see is solar power, and they're gonna think, I can charge with the power of the sun, and they'll buy it. So good for them. Our last story, Ryan, what is it?
All right. Last story is actually kind of a twofer. To start with, Adobe has updated its terms of service, clarifying that it will not use customer content to train its AI models after all. The changes come in response to user concerns about data, privacy, and ownership. Adobe emphasized that customer work remains their property, and the Firefly AI models are trained only on licensed and public domain content. Now, in addition to this being a problem, the FTC is actually filing a complaint against Adobe for hidden termination fees. Basically, if you buy the annual paid monthly plan and you try to cancel it early, they will charge you half that remaining month's worth of plan immediately. And the FTC says that is not fair.
Yeah, I hate that. That's like the DirecTV model. I hate DirecTV. Sorry, I shouldn't say that, but I really do.
So
same model.
Let's talk to that charge first. First of all, that's criminal. Especially due to the fact that some people, I'm not going to name anybody, but I've heard stories about people who go out there and they get the teacher or student package where they only pay $19.99 a month for the first year, and then after that they jump up to the $49 a month. And if you go and you say, hey, I want to cancel my service, and you make sure that you say you want to cancel twice, no matter what they say or what they offer you, because they're going to offer you some kind of discount. I'm not going to say what it is. I can't remember. I didn't do it, like I said, but they offer you 2 discounts. You say, no, I still want to cancel. When you get to that last page, they say, well, would you like to keep your teacher or student account for another year for $19.99? And you say yes. Now, what happens is they charge you right then for that $19.99 plus tax, ends up being $24. But the $32 that they charge, or $49 that they charge you, they retroactively pay you back for however many days it was that they charged you. So if you got that year bill and you forgot that the year was up before to cancel, they charge you $49.99. 2 days later, you say you want to cancel. They're going to charge you $25, but then they're going to give you back the full prorated day rate. So if it was only 2 days, you're going to get back $41, and they get that back to you the next day. But if you cancel after paying a whole year ahead of time, you're going to keep 50% of it.
Yeah, come on.
you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. And it makes me not want to come back because now I'm already losing money. I don't even want to come back here at any point because you're just ripping people off. I don't like it. Ryan, you don't like it?
I don't like it at all. I've had to pay that fee before. And it's one of the reasons that I switched to alternative apps like Affinity or, just basically I would rather use GIMP, the open source image manipulation tool, than stick with Adobe again.
GIMP's great
because they burned me that hard. Yeah. GIMP is great. GIMP is great. It's not Photoshop, but it is great.
It's not. No.
Lou, I'll admit this to you because it's just us here. Nobody watches this podcast. I'm a drug addict. Adobe gets my money. I'm hooked on that cocaine. I can't let it go. I've tried. And with this article coming out, they brought out Jason Levine. They brought out Teddy Pendergrass White, Terry White. They brought out all the big guns to say and explain of how they were misunderstood and misinterpreted and how they understand. And Ryan by trade is a TOS writer. He is a person who is losing his job every day to AI, but writing terms of service is hard, and it is harder to understand and to really get. People read the Bible and can't figure that out. I mean, the Bible's all laid out. It's kind of been the same. There's 4 versions, but the Bible's the same. And you can give it to 10 different preachers and you'll get 6 different ideals from it. So when you read these terms of service from Adobe or any large corporation, it was cringe and it was scary. And it was like, what are we doing? So they've rolled it back, explained, changed wording. They're presenting it more as they've changed wording so it's more understandable and palatable to regular everyday people, so that they know what we're using it for. Instead of them copying our information, it's copying it so that when you're in the cloud and you want it on your PC versus your phone, that's what they meant by copying. They do a good job with Terry and the explainers and all the people coming out giving explanations to give you understanding and clarity. I think the
one problem I have with this, they're giving you understanding and clarity with the current terms of service, but there's a lot of smoke and mirrors still. Like, for instance, they explicitly tell you what model they will not train, but what about all the other models they have? Right. So, I mean, they're not telling you explicitly they're not going to use those. Right. And of course, obviously, like these cloud, Google Drive and Microsoft OneDrive, obviously they have to copy data around. So they have to have it in the terms of service that they're allowed to back up your data on their own servers and move it across regions and that kind of thing, because so that makes sense. But that doesn't mean that they can't make another copy and utilize it and anonymize it and use it for other things. So yeah, I mean, it's nice. Adobe's nice that they did all this, but there's still some smoke and mirrors. There's still some lawyer speak.
Yeah. To your point of what you said earlier, it's a callback to security. Assume you've been breached. Assume that I don't care if you're using a free program. If that free program has any kind of cloud capability and it's going somewhere, my favorite thing to tell people is, again, the NSA would never. Well, there was a guy who got caught spying on his girlfriend because they broke up and he was mad. Just because you shouldn't do it, just because it's in the bylaws not to do it, doesn't mean that there's not somebody out there doing it. And that's the bottom line. So again, kudos for Adobe for bringing out all the heavy hitters to come and clean this up and make it sound better, to make you feel better, to make you think that you could sleep better at night and not cancel. But the damage to me has already been done. Again, I'm a junkie. They have got me on a chokehold. They've got me on a chokehold, bro. I don't use the cloud for anything, but I'm just too old to learn a new trick. I got all my editing stuff, everything's down. I use the same things. I know what I'm doing. And so I can't let it go. But I was very upset about this. It made me think about letting it go.
Sure. Yeah.
So again, I what you said was so succinct too. Just assume you've already been breached. Assume you're going to get breached. Assume that there's somebody stealing. That's the biggest problem with AI, right? A lot of artists are just upset because their art is being copied and mimicked and scraped. And where's my credit? I don't even get the whole inspired by Da Vinci. It's just, I made this turtle, but I'm going to put it on Etsy and sell it for $1,000. Yeah, that looks like one of those watercolor paintings. Who made those?
Did you get burned by a turtle at some point? Because that's the second time you said turtle.
I love so. First of all, turtles. Long story short, my friend who watches is going to enjoy this. My friend had a turtle, and I told her about my sister who got a tortoise. I told them, I said, this is a tortoise, not a turtle. No one believed me until the tortoise got to be up around 100 pounds, and they realized that, yes, this is a tortoise. It's going to live for 400 years. She then told her friend, hey, don't get a turtle. I had a bad experience with a turtle. My friend got a tortoise. Don't do it. And her friend got so upset with her, they argued about a turtle. Two grown women argued about a turtle all this week, and I had to hear about it back and forth. So I do have turtle in the brain. Very astute observation by you, Lou. And I am having turtle mania right now. So that's for you, Lacey. It's turtle time, and we're not talking about Ninja Turtles. That's it for the stories, right, Ryan?
That is it. We are done.
We are done. This was fun, Lou. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Is there anything? I'll stick your Twitter on there. I know you're out there working. If anybody's got any good recipes for the boys, I'll send them your way.
Please do, coupons, get good coupon ideas.
Some coupons, give the wife a hug for me. She's the real MVP. Because I know it's not just 5 boys, it's 6 boys. She's got to deal with you too.
That's true. She's got to deal with me too.
She's got to deal with you too. But thanks for being on the show. Again, check the notes for all the fun things, the stories, the articles. The only thing I ask is to subscribe on YouTube and leave a comment, like, share. If you have somebody in your life that is annoying you and getting on your nerves, send them this podcast and tell them that there's something very important in the middle of it and that they can win $1,000. Just lie to them, make them suffer through the show. And that way you win, I win, everybody wins. That's all I ask. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Annoy somebody else with the luxurious time of listening and watching our show. We appreciate you. Say goodbye to people, Ryan.
Goodbye to the people.